Hey guys, it's Victoria, and on this week with Groupies with the Band, we were able to sit down with the New York band Crybaby. I hope you guys enjoy the video as much as we do.
Oh God!
Hello. Hey.
Hey.
Sorry about the delay there.
You're good.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good.
Just three guys trying to figure out how to work a computer. It took 20 minutes. We finally got it figured out.
I feel like Google Meets is a little bit, I didn't even know how this was going to work, so I understand it.
Yeah, it's a little off the beaten path. We were going to do my phone, and then I figured it'd be nicer to have it on the computer, prop it up.
Yeah.
You know? So.
I'm Kenzie, by the way.
I'm Victoria.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Alex. And
Joey. Josh.
Joey and Josh.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Do we want to start off with you guys giving your name, age, where you're from, and then your guys' positions?
Hey! What?
Yes! The people need to know how old you are.
Figure that shit out. That's pretty
Name, age, height, weight.
Social security number, your mother's maiden name, everything.
I'd rather get my social security than my age at this point. That's good. No, yeah, we can definitely do it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what's the third thing?
Okay, so it's name, age, where you're from, and then the position you play in the band.
Okay. I'm Alex. I'm 31. I am from Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin, Bayfield, Wisconsin. And I sing, and I play guitar. Some would say I'm kind of the internal muse of the band.
Shut up.
You're the jack of all trades in the band.
Wow.
Yeah, I sing and play guitar.
Okay, cool.
I'm the man behind Alex's magic. This is my puppet. My name is Joey. I'm 27. I'm from Chicago, and I play bass.
Okay.
I'm Josh. I play keys and saxophone and kind of run some of the business side of things.
Yes, this is our accountant.
Oh, okay.
I just talk to the accountant. That's it. I can't do it.
The numbers, man.
So, are you guys all from like the Midwest area, kind of?
Oh no, I forgot. I'm from Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh, okay. So like Midwest and like South.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Even split.
Cool.
But some of us went to school down south
Mm-hmm.
in Charleston, South Carolina, and that's how a few of us met before we all ended up in the city.
Okay. So you just mentioned that some of you met while you guys were at school. Do you want to kind of give us like the story, like the little rundown of how you all met?
Yeah, it's kind of like in two parts. So a group of us met in Charleston kind of through, I'd say, like kind of DIY house show scene at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of all met there, came together, started playing together. I met Josh when I was freaking 18 years old and he was in college. So it was like, that was like probably the oldest friendship there is in the band. But then fast forward, post-school, years later, a group of us moving to the city. That's where we were looking for a singer for our band. And I think we had an Instagram. I had an Instagram post on my own account story. And that's when Alex reached out to me. And I had only known Alex through like maybe meeting him a few times at parties and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he DM'd me, and I think he said literally, "I want to be the boy in Muna." Man, that's I think literally the language that was you. I was like, "All right, bet, let's try it out." And then we literally had one meeting, and we kind of had all the same music tastes and the references, and from there it was just like this click moment. We're like, I think we found our dude. I think this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had saw on your Instagram like the post you guys made where it was kind of like your 1 year anniversary of being like a full-time band all together, and you guys kind of saying like you were glad that Alex joined and he was partially the reason you guys are still alive right now. Alex, since you were the last one to join the group, what was kind of your perspective, both like inside the band and outside of the band?
I mean, I think I, have always played music kind of on my own for the most part. I think let's see. I think like as being like a solo artist, I didn't really feel like I had that in me to like make that work. I kind of understood, and I think we have all understood that we need other people to make the kind of stuff that we want to make. You know what I mean? Kind of fill in each other's like white space, in that way. And so I think from my perspective outside the band, I can't speak too much to like, what my perspective of these guys was like outside the band, but like, I can say I didn't really see music as being like a super viable option to like pour myself into in this way, anymore, outside of like miraculously, finding a band that like everybody's super, invested, and like, then I have like a super close creative partner. I just didn't really think that was going to serendipitously come around.
Yeah.
I had been actively looking for that for a long time, but not anymore. I had kind of like given up that like active search, I think. But then inside, just like I think it was a quick uptake for like our sort of aligned vision. I think like we're all pretty serious, about like making music like a full-time thing, like this, wanting to do this as like our job. And we've had multiple iterations of other things not materialize, so like we're sort of used to I think like the steps that it takes to make that kind of thing happen. I think we're not gonna be like, what I mean? This isn't like like a 1-year mission, what I mean, for us, it's like,
it's like you want to continue all together. It's not just we'll see how it goes. This is like working out. We want it to go somewhere further. We're going to keep working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I think
long game.
Yeah, it's a long game, but it's also like inside the band, like it's interesting when you have like people who like bring a lot of I guess like pent up creative energy out of you, that you kind of find like how many ideas you had in you for something, whether that's like for social media or writing or just visuals. Like it's just a lot of fun. I think it's brought like a lot of fun to the surface for a lot of us, definitely for me. Yeah.
But because you joined a year ago, the band's probably changed a little bit. How would you guys describe the band from a year ago, from when you joined, to today?
The big shit. I mean, I feel like we hit the ground running so hard in Alex Join. We had so much on our plate of like, we immediately, like, we went from having no songs, like one, like maybe like 30-second snippet of the song Hollister, which would have been our first song out. We had like a 30-second thing of that, which I showed to Alex the first time we met. That's basically it. There was like nothing on our belt. We just immediately started writing and recording, and we worked on Hollister. It was the first thing we did, finish that song, and then just kept hopping song to song to song. And eventually, come like the spring, we had this little body of work that was done, which is, now our EP, which will be coming out in June. But we went from writing all those songs, getting our social media back up and running, learning all of those songs, and playing our first show back in that summer. And then we went on tour. So it was like literally like, you can imagine like spinning all of those plates at one time, just moving to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. I think we had to figure out on the go what this band was going to look like, what it's going to be about, how do we do it in the modern times, too, of like, it's 2023, how are bands doing it? What are their social medias looking like? What is the branding of it all? And I think that was really exciting. It's still happening, of like kind of, now we've kind of gotten in a groove better where we're like a little more stable. Like we put in a lot of work this past year, so now we kind of have a little bit more under our belt. But I feel like we're still figuring out like which is the exciting part as they're rolling out songs and they're taking on a life of their own of what the world of this band is, what the creative direction of it all is.
Mhm.
So it's been a lot of fun, but I feel like it's been a group like on the go effort basically immediately.
And
I mean, yeah, I think one thing that's changed or grown a lot in like the last year is, and this is like always a thing in bands, is like people finding like their roles and like where they kind of like slot into things. I think early on, especially with all the other guys like knowing each other so well, was sort of like to be defined. You know what I mean? Like in a new atmosphere, and it like there can be kind of growing pains to that, and like some yeah, it's like tough to navigate. You know, like when people's like dreams and are on the line, honestly. And so I think we've kind of like figured out a good like working system with like within our band and like relationship wise has been like huge. I mean, that's like honestly the foundation that you need for success and like longevity.
you kind of mentioned that you declared like roles within the inside of your band. You guys mentioned like the positions you guys play, but what are some of the roles that you guys all play outside of your instruments within the band?
We don't necessarily like define. I think that those are things that like end up taking shape, over time. Let's see.
I mean, I feel like there are little areas like Josh, for example. Even today, we're talking about all of our like our LLC and banking and all that. Like that's when that clicked for Josh. So okay, they're running around doing that stuff, setting up that. I do a lot of the producing and like kind of graphic design or video editing stuff. So maybe I'm working on those things, and me and Alex will come up with an idea. Like, for example, any of our videos, I'm filming him doing that. We're writing a script, and he's making the video. He's on camera doing all that. Then I take that, I edit it or whatever, send it back to him, and then he is getting the post together and putting it out. So it's like these funny little different like hats people just like put on.
Yeah.
To make, and everyone's kind of working on their own thing. We're bringing back the materials to each other to build the final product. And I think that's huge in the collaborative band part, because you can have people doing two completely separate tasks at the same time, which is so tough when you're a solo artist. It's like all on you.
It helps a lot with accountability too. I mean, like I'll end up calling Joey probably most mornings, you know what I mean? Like about something that I would like to get done, or that we've talked about, doing that day, or you know what I mean, like maybe the next day, and like what we need to get in hand like before that. We do like to come like, and that is like another part of the process is like once you've figured out sort of your flow, your workflow, whether it's with like an Instagram post or something like that, if it's a video, like there's a good amount of work that has to go into that beforehand. We like to show up like I'm prepared, to some extent to be able to knock that out.
Yeah.
Because we want it to be good, and like we want it to make good use of our time, and it takes a long time to edit that stuff together and to shoot it and all that. So it's like you want to make sure you're showing up,
So it's kind of like there's not distinct roles for everyone. It's like everyone's kind of doing a little bit of everything, and some people might do it more than others, but it's still everyone putting a little piece of the puzzle in.
Yeah, I think going back to your first question too, like over the past year, the thing that's changed the most is I feel like everyone is starting to lean more towards their strengths, and everyone's figuring out, okay, this is kind of where I fit, and this is something happened.
Yeah.
One second, sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, everybody has their hand in a little bit of everything, but then you find out where people's strengths are, and kind of go from there.
Yeah. Perfect.
Playing people's strengths is so important. It's like it's tough when you're not 5 people. It's like there's gonna be like it's almost like playing the show is the time where those 5 people are all really doing something together. Otherwise, it's like little pockets of people or individuals, and that's like kind of the beauty of it. Like the show, when you're in practice and when you actually finally play the gig, that's the moment where you're all together, like completing the same task at once. Which is not beautiful.
It's like you all are doing your separate things, then you all come together for like the final product.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very fulfilling. I mean, I think like one thing that we've come to like has been a big reminder for us, like at being like at other shows and like talking to a lot of other artists in New York, is like really hard to come by. Having people like invested, you know what I mean, like in a shared vision, and that's probably like one of our greatest assets, you know. So yeah, like it's really, I mean, it's hard to quantify like how important it is to like when you're on the road, for instance, like enjoy the people that you're sharing, you know, that time with, you know. It's really important. So yeah, it's like that's something that we have and we're grateful for. You know, the Backfires as well. You know, who you guys interviewed, like that's a good example of another band. But there's so few. I mean, really, honestly, there aren't that many bands that can enlist that many people. You know, to really genuinely like care and invest in something. So
we actually found you guys through the Backfires.
Yeah.
And we kind of, I feel like New York has been pushing out a lot of really good bands lately, and that kind of like leads me to a question of being in New York, knowing so many other bands that are in New York and trying to make it. Do you sense any type of competition, or is it more of like we are all in this together, we're all trying to go somewhere, like you're proud of other bands, or do you think there's any like competition?
We're not proud of anybody.
All bands, we are trying our hardest to put them below us.
No, I think there's definitely right now is a unique time in the city, and a lot of people have been talking about it in the city. That like there seems to be a collective energy towards like moving towards community in bands. I think that has been something that's been lacking in the city, and has been like a little bit more disjointed. It may have been true in like other walks of like genres, but not to my knowledge, like for a while. And like since band music or like guitar oriented music, I would say, is kind of like coming back into the pop like sphere is like very marketable. That's translated to more bands like in the city. I mean, obviously shows and stuff like that, but then other people are coming to, like other bands are coming to shows, and then you're sort of meeting people. I think really even in the last like 4 months, you know, there's been like a huge like uptick in that, where there is this sense of community where it's not like a big sense of like competition, you know what I mean, in that way. It's not like it seems like an abundance, you know, mindset for most people, I would say. Even like big variants of like audience like reach, you know, but yeah, like I think that sense of community is really important for launching people outside of the scene too. Like there's like so much to be said about like so many eras of music. Like a lot of like the most iconic eras were kind of forged by pretty localized scenes, which is kind of cool. And like I didn't know that would ever like happen like again like outside of a college atmosphere, but that's kind of low-key what it feels like here a little bit, is like in your college town and the bands that are in town go to the other bands shows as well as fans, you know, but like bands might be going to shows to not only see who's on stage, but like who's gonna like show up, you know. And that's like definitely happening here, you know, for sure.
It's more of like the bands are helping out other bands than trying to be bigger than them. It's like, oh well, I'm a little bit bigger, I'm gonna have these small bands play with me, and hopefully they're gonna get traction, and we both get traction.
I think that's our hope too. At the end of the day, it's trying to like cultivate a scene here with our friends, spend more time with people that want the same, like a sense of community. Because at the end of the day, it's like those cosigns, that sense of belonging, that's what's going to push everyone's music and the career, what they ultimately want, a lot farther. Because that's like always how it goes. It's like the domino effect of people putting each other on. It's like the most important thing you can do to make sure a scene becomes bigger than just yourself. And I think that there's something wholesome about it. I think that we're really trying to tap into here, of the kind of the college town thing, of like making it feel inclusive and connected, and that like there's a bunch of people doing super cool stuff, and a bunch of people that like each other too and don't want to put each other down, and want to like build each other up, so we can all kind of like achieve what we're putting all this time and effort into in the first place.
Yeah, instead of like stepping on people, you're kind of like being a building block for them.
Yeah, there's always going to be people who are like too cool or whatever, but I think what we're realizing that like the more people kind of don't have that posture attitude, like the more bands start to be there for each other, show up for each other, the better those relationships become, and it kind of like filters out the people that aren't interested in forming those relationships. I think you can really build something that lasts longer from, like, I think being there for each other. That's interesting.
There are like a lot of like struggles with the bands and everything, with like some bands think that they're like better than others, and they do have that like posh tone or whatever. But if y'all could go back in time and tell yourself like one thing about being in a band now, or about like struggles about being in a band, what would it be?
I think for me it would be, you absolutely are the tallest guy in this band.
Get on TikTok. Get on TikTok. Everybody else does.
For me, it would have been five big points. You're the tallest guy in this band, and get on TikTok right now.
And get richer parents. My mom could have just made some more freaking money in her life.
Get on your period.
Thanks for doing so much fucking better. She could have done that. She screwed me. But
hit it.
No joke. Try. Just make a really creative effort on social media. Treat it like your art, which we do now. I feel like we put as much attention, if not more sometimes, into the kind of the social media creative world. So much of your time in a band is spent doing those things, not even the actual music part, just because how it all plays out. And I would spend, which we have from the jump with Alex, done more of that, which has been great. But I think that's something that, like, from the start, that's the best thing a band can do is really try to be creative and enjoy their process with social media and how they're going to build their community. Because it will, like, pay off if you are actually, like, even if it's silly kind of dumb shit, if you're being creative about it, like you are with your music, you'll probably find something that feels genuine, doesn't feel icky, that feels, like, exciting to do on the internet, which is, like, how the world works.
Yeah.
I mean, I would second that for sure. I mean, I think like falling in love with like every phase of the process, like promotion and like social media and all that is like so baked into like the life cycle of like what music is and being a musician is. So those things are important to like get some sense of gratification out of, but like also just like younger self, like I would say, like you don't have to have anything in mind, or like a band, or like even a project or an album in mind to like just start like writing songs, you know what I mean? And that's never going to be really time wasted, even if like people never hear those songs. Like down the line, you know, your early stuff like helps you develop, you know, the songwriter like you become, you know, someday. So that stuff is at times really all very well spent.
Like,
Whether you feel like it's just like in an echo chamber, you're the only one listening to it, you know, on your computer or whatever. But
like, it's not really about you, like, it's not about what you make, it's about just kind of making something. It's like you don't need to try to heavily focus on being like, I want to make an indie rock album. I want to have it come out and be famous within a year. It's more of like just enjoy making music and figuring out over time what your sound is and what you want to be as an artist.
Yeah, it's yeah, and it's if you're just starting out songwriting, it's really really tough to like have, you know what I mean, like your own thing like going on. It's gonna sound like other people, and that's totally fine. And that kind of like that takes a little bit of time to whittle away. I mean, I'm just more thinking like when I was younger, writing music, and I just thought so many times I was like, oh, this is just like a waste of time. Nobody's even gonna hear this. This song's not even very good, And like they weren't even that great, But I think like if I wouldn't have done that then, I wouldn't be able to like hop in the studio with Joey now and like bang something out really quick that ultimately sounds like me, you know what I mean, or us, or whatever, like this group. So that stuff is like all time really well spent. You really have to put in your work, before you can kind of sound like yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think building relationships with other artists too, like what we were saying about the community, I think it's so much easier to grow with other people who are doing in the same creative space or doing a similar thing. But even as a band starting, like relationships with everybody in the creative community, from photographers, videographers, other musicians, I think all of that is super important because you don't know where you're going to find inspiration. In the collaboration, I think really brings out inspiration in a lot of different areas, whether it's how you write your music or you want to try this or even like the social media aspect. You get ideas from everywhere. And it's, I think, something that these guys do really well is building those relationships and collaborating with other people to find inspiration everywhere.
Yeah. I think you guys have done a good job kind of pushing yourselves to have a social media presence. But that kind of leads me into my next question. It's a little bit of a weird question.
I'm nervous about it. You started laughing. You're like, why is everything you do so cringy?
No. Okay. The question that I have for you guys is, what is your obsession with Hinge?
Oh my god. That's an Alex question, really.
Well, no, I mean, and I'm so happy.
Because you guys were talking about like social media and putting yourselves on social media, and I did see your post about wanting a Hinge sponsorship, and that kind of just led to this question.
No, I think like it's a good question. I mean, like dating apps are sort of so like they're kind of mostly a joke, honestly, and like it's best to, I mean, not to denigrate, you know what I mean, like dating apps. I think you can get as much as you desire out of them, but like I think for the most part they're best taken like not very seriously. And for me, like in the city here, like my like Hinge, I didn't really use it very much. And then we were going on tour, and I kind of thought, oh, it'd be really funny to just turn this into like a band account because you can change your like location.
Yeah.
You know, like from city to city, and like just set this up with the show flyers and see if like we can't get like a couple people to come out to shows just from that.
Yeah.
And I think I'm not even sure if that was
I think it worked once or twice. And then we said, "There's Matt. This is an untapped gold mine." And then Alex dedicated the rest of his year.
No,
Influencer on him.
no, that's not really. Okay, so like we fast forward to like after tour like that. I wasn't active on that at all on the band front, you know. So like, but we were thinking of like video ideas to promote like the show coming up, and promo is just so tough to like make it fun. And we I had like fired up the old, you know, Hinge band account machine, and we had an idea, you know, about doing a story or like a video about that, and it just kind of ran with it. And now I've just like
Alex 24/7 on the phone. I got another one.
Well, I mean, I'll give you the quick rundown. I don't swipe on anyone on Hinge. I just wait for people to swipe on the account, and like everyone who likes the account, I just shoot them a message message to see you at the show, and the page is very explicitly a band account. I even have the Hinge video on there, and so
This is disclaimer.
disclaimer.
Platonic band account.
You're like, this is not me. It's the band. Come see the band. Do not come to see me.
We like to think of ourselves as ethical crooners, so this falls very much in that sweet spot. But it is really funny. I think it's funny. It's and fun if like done right. But it's like
Yeah.
Handled appropriately can be really funny.
I feel like I've never heard of anyone using a dating app like that before to push themselves on social media. So I think it's very cool. It's an original idea, and it's a kind of a nice way to get people to come and be like, hey, I found this band on my Hinge. We should go see them and see if they're cool.
The saddest part was me realizing after we made that video as a joke that it was true. And that we actually were promoting ourselves on Hinge actively. We were literally, I think, later that night out at a bar, and somebody said, man, do you guys actually do that? And I had to think for a second. I was like, wait, we do. And I was like, oh no. But
have you had anyone come up to you and be like, hey, I saw you guys on Hinge, that's why I'm here?
Well, we'll see what come the show. I mean, I have no idea what the results are going to be, but
if it works, we're doubling down.
It's seeming like the numbers could be generally high,
Yeah.
I it's TBD. You know what I mean? You never know with when it comes to the day of, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see. But we don't want to make it it's not a joke on them or anything like that. It's very much we want it to be a fun thing,
Yeah, it's not just messing with people. It's you generally trying to push your music and be like, yeah, come to the show. You might
we'll have a good time. If you come from Hinge, you're gonna have a great night no matter what, and we're gonna have a great. We want to have a fun, silly time. So it's more of setting people up to have a great night of their lives. That's what we want. So can't go. Maybe they will find love there. Might not be anyone from us, but there could be a person in the crowd that's for you.
Hey, but it could be you. It could be you. It could be someone else, or they could fall in love with your music.
Exactly.
There we go. Fall in love with the music. That's actually what we should be branding.
Put that on your Hinge. Just say.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing about the Hinge thing is watching people match and message just because they don't believe it. They're like, wait, did you really make a Hinge for your band? And then it kind of hooks them,
Yeah. And
Y'all should make merch t-shirts that said I matched with Crybaby on Hinge.
Yes! Please!
Wait. Chill. Pause. You got the exclusive. You got the exclusive.
That's amazing.
Can we
How did you
please
know?
buy one from you?
I'm actually a mind reader, guys.
We need to hire you.
Marketing.
Yep, we got you guys.
Yeah, so we do Newsflash have.
That's coming out tomorrow. Keep your eyes peeled.
I was gonna say, if you don't have that out yet, we will Venmo you and we will just buy it.
Yeah,
Tomorrow.
I'll do it. What's the Venmo?
That's so funny.
Yeah, so we're gonna post them tomorrow, but we're putting a little post together. I matched with Crybaby on Hinge. Just got some other stuff on there.
That is so funny, y'all. That's crazy.
Victoria, you got that down
That was
to the.
crazy. That was
That was
crazy.
really
No
wild.
word.
That was wild.
Yeah.
My mind just goes to marketing right away when I hear stuff like that. I'm like, put it on a t-shirt, put it on a button, put it on a hat.
On a butt.
When you said the Hinge idea kind of came from, the promoting the show on Hinge, but that shirt came from we were talking about this other band in town, and I said, I don't know, somebody was saying they matched with half of such and such band on Hinge, and I was like, I'm gonna post that on the band account. We just matched with this band on Hinge, from our band account. And I was like, oh, that's just a funny thing to say. And then it's came to the shirts, and it's with the Hinge promo video just all lined up. But when you said you should have shirts, oh man,
That's crazy.
I'm glad you say that. I'm glad.
Welcome to the band.
Yeah.
Thanks. actually leaving you now.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're part of the band now. I'm just gonna fully take over the account then.
That's crazy. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, expect us to come to a show this summer wearing the t-shirts.
No,
Let's
let's
go.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a Hinge account just to find you guys on there.
Yeah. You can find the show details on Hinge. You gotta randomly find it. You'll find the poster. That'll be it.
I'll just get
Don't
it.
doubt me. I'll find you guys.
Swipe.
I have a messed up sleep schedule. You don't know what time I'm gonna find you.
Just 3 a.m. match. Be like, yes, I found them.
Hey, that could happen.
It could. It could.
Yeah, I wanted to do like a Hinge like discount, but like it's so hard to.
We don't. Should we do a Hinge only show?
Yeah.
Hinge only show, someday when we get the Hinge sponsorship.
Yeah.
There you go.
If you guys get a Hinge sponsorship, I think you should do a Hinge show where it's every person who finds you. You invite them. You're like, yeah, you like give them the details. You're like, it's in this basement around like this block. See you at 7.
Other than performing music, what could you guys see yourself doing?
Being sad, corporate. Just these two do work. They are in the corporate. I guess we're all kind of in the corporate world. They're in the very much corporate world, both of them. So we'd probably just be sad, just doing our thing.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if it wasn't music, I think like it would be really cool to do some kind of like creative direction for other artists, you know, or like brand direction stuff, even like social media oriented, you know, if that bleeds into like more. But like, cause I really do like that side of like what we do, you know, I have so much fun with it and like coming up with, you know, marketing ideas or, you know, whatever it is. I really have a good time with that. So I think like you know, that wouldn't be, you know, the end of the world for me to be doing something like that, you know. I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. For Dua Lipa.
Dua Lipa.
Honestly, there was a time back in the way beginning when Joey and I basically kind of first met and were doing music together, where I started screen printing our own t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
So when Joey and I were working together on designing and printing our own shirts just to save money,
Yeah.
not spending money. And I absolutely loved it. I was doing it out of
You
our
were really good at
garage.
it. Yeah.
I started doing it for other bands in town, and it was a blast.
Ooh.
I think I'd probably lean into that a little bit more.
Doing like the merchandise for some of the bands.
Yeah, it's cool. I've always been into like, I guess, visual arts and painting and kind of working with my hands in that respect. So
Yeah.
for what music, I'd probably be doing something of that nature.
Do the three of you have like other jobs besides music, or is music like your 9 to 5?
We have jobs.
We have to.
We'll, I mean, likely, honestly, you know, even if we're making a bunch of money from music, you know, in the next few years, if that comes down is in the cards, I think like we'll, you know, definitely we're pretty realistic, you know. I think we've like grown up quite a bit, and like we would like to be keeping our jobs until we like literally can't, you know what I mean? So like time wise, so even if like, you know, the money was coming in for the band where we could live off that well enough, I think you'd want to, you know what I mean, like just be as responsible as possible, you know what I mean, like going forward with that, because that kind of like stress that, you know, money scarcity can
with remote work you can do so much.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
some of us are touring and working at the same time. Like basically there's just a ton of pressure to, if music is your only money source, that can be a lot of pressure of like having that performance. I think that can bleed into a lot of how you feel about what you're doing too. Of just kind of being in this state of panic, and there's already so much instability in doing music, and it's always changing and ups and downs, that like it's kind of nice to have some steady stream of income, some part of your life that's just like kind of like even keel in that way.
Yeah. Well, we have one last question for you, and then we have a small little game that we want to play with you guys.
Wow.
Okay. So, the last question that kind of like ties into the game is, why are you guys named Crybaby? Where did that come from?
Good question. I think the story goes there is a movie called Crybaby from the 80s.
With the guy who plays Jack Sparrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a movie. I honestly haven't even seen it all the way through, I don't
Mhm.
think. I know it's a cult classic. I think we saw that, realized the name wasn't taken, and we're basically shocked that there wasn't like a big band named Crybaby or whatever. We were like, fuck it, we're going to go for this. So I think we just took it from there, and then it just always clicked.
I know you haven't seen the movie fully, but like honestly, the vibe of the movie matches you guys a lot.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dig in a little bit deeper, and this might embarrass
Is there
Joey.
more?
So when Joey and I first met, he was making like very heavy 80s influenced pop music.
Oh.
And the reason we started playing together is he asked me, he was like, hey, I have a song I want sax on. And I was playing sax. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And so that evolved. And then Joey was writing punk music for this different punk project, like definitely early college days, house show, like that vibe. And then it evolved into something else. But Joey at the time had a song named Crybaby.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that.
And it like one of the punk songs. And we're like, all right, if we're going to do something else. So it evolved. And like the style was very much from the movie.
Yeah. I do right. Because the movie is like an 80s movie, but it's about the 50s.
Yeah.
So I think that,
the name has traveled with us very much over time and just kind of stuck. But
amazed it was available. So there you go. That's why.
You just like typed it in. You're like, oh my god, no one has that. Cool, that's our name.
If the band isn't big enough, then it doesn't matter. We'll accept the name. So now we're just fighting everybody else. We're like, come take it from us. You know?
Okay, so for the game, I have 10 questions that I'm going to ask you guys, and it is to determine if you are a crybaby or not.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to ask you guys the questions. Victoria, do you want to keep track of how many yeses each of them give? Okay. So, the first question is, do you rage when you lose a video game?
Yes.
Yes, only if I'm playing Joey in Super Smash Bros.
Okay.
I don't. I'm very calm and collected.
Oh, sure. So that's 3 yeses. That's 3 yeses.
3 yeses? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you cry when watching a romantic movie?
These are alley-oop questions. Now it's gonna be 3 yeses. Okay.
Yeah. Are you overly emotional when it comes to listening to music?
Overly. Is it overly emotional to intentionally make yourself sad in order to
Yeah.
in
Like
order
overly
to
emotional as in
enjoy
like any type of music you listen to, whether if it's like heavy metal, you're really just in like the mindset of like, oh, I don't care about anything. But if you're listening to sad music, you're sad. If you listen to happy music, you're really happy. So like if you constantly are matching the vibe like overly emotionally for the different genres of music.
Yes, but I'll get emotional about things that aren't emotional. I feel like I'm doing the opposite. Sometimes I'll hear like a really bubbly song and I'll be like, life is so short. I'll never be young again. The world is moving so fast.
So is that 3 S's?
Let's go 3
absolutely.
yeses.
3 S's? Do you cry when you see a cute old couple?
Fuck no, they're old. That's 3 no's. That's 3 no's. That's perfect.
I don't cry.
Okay. Do you cry when you eat spicy food? Like, are spicy foods not your thing?
No,
like
I can.
spicy.
We can go spicy.
Yeah, that's 3 no's.
No's? Okay. Are any of you piggy eaters?
Not really.
No.
No, not picky.
I have dietary restrictions, but it's not like a preference. You know?
Carter used to be the most picky, but
Carter is picky.
They,
Carter's picky.
but I feel like they've gotten better when they moved to New York. They used to be like
Carter, yeah.
strictly like they were eating like mostly
Chicken
just
nuggets.
fried chicken. Like that was like
a lot of raisin
We're really
canes.
outing them right now. We're really outing them. They
Chicken
were
At them.
tenders, mac and cheese, applesauce. I get it.
Yeah.
like very southern kid.
A lot of chicken nuggets and Cheez-Its.
Yeah.
Were,
But
that
then
was the
then they'd be like, my stomach hurts. And then I think they got it under control now.
That sounds like my diet as a kid.
Yeah, this sounds like me.
It's totally
Okay. Do you get upset when your favorite underground band goes viral?
No, I mean,
No,
I look at that and I say, why could that not be me? Why could that? I'm really
So,
absolutely.
yes,
Why is that not me? That,
Yeah.
Damn it!
We see the backfire post the blindsided bridge for the 30th time and it goes viral again
Yeah.
and I say
No, we're on
No.
the phone with Alex being like, damn it, damn it, give us some of that.
We have talked to them so many times being like, so like, is that gonna get retired? And they're like, if Harry gets off of TikTok, yeah, but as long as Harry has a TikTok, it's gonna keep going.
no, I love it when people's stuff pops off. You know, it's so cool. It's honestly very heartening to see. You know.
You guys gotta think of like, or maybe we could think of a trend for one of your songs. Make it go viral a bit.
Our marketing team over here.
Yeah.
We got you guys.
Click a few buttons. Click a few
Please
buttons.
help, please help.
Are you a jealous person, any three of you? Like, jealous in any way?
I would say, I used to be a little bit more. It's like it would be, I think, just untrue for anybody to say no in any sense. I used to be more, I think, like not like in like a relationship sense or anything like that, but just, you know, in general, like more like scarcity mindset, like kind of what we're talking about with scene stuff, where it's like if they're doing it, that means that there's less for me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think in that way, more so like when I was younger. I think now, I realize really the value of community in that, like it can kind of amplify more people. I mean, I definitely feel jealous at times. You know, but like,
Mine turns inward. I see someone else killing it, and I say to myself, "What's wrong with you? Why can't I
But
be that?"
you could take it as the way of, oh, they're killing it. That means there's hope that I can kill it, just like
Yeah,
that.
I wish my brain worked like that. I wish my brain wasn't like, "You're such a piece of shit. You'll never make this shit up." Yeah, we'll give no's.
yeah,
No's?
like,
Okay. Do you complain a lot?
Okay, that's a yes. That's a yes all the way around.
Three S's? Okay.
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah, Alex, it could be literally. You should sit through a sound check with this dude and see how you feel about yourself coming out of that.
Misery love company. We
Yeah.
all complain.
Oh yeah. I've heard of a wet blanket. Try soaked. Smoking wet blanket.
So 3S is all the way around.
Question.
Okay. The very last one is gonna be: do you get mad when things don't go your way?
All right, interview over. That's 3 yeses. It's absolutely done. Okay. Great talking to y'all.
So 3 S's for that one.
Yes.
Me, not that.
Violent, it's violent, yes. Capital.
It's half and half.
Oh my
Is
God.
it wait, okay. For the tallies for everyone, how many were yeses for each person?
It's half and half for most of them. Like it's half yes and half no. So like maybe like half a crybaby.
Okay.
maybe?
If it's
We're healthy.
There's 10 questions. If it was 6 or more, it meant you were a crybaby. So you guys are 1 point away from being crybabies.
Oh no!
I am very jealous. I am very jealous.
You want to be a crybaby?
What does that say about
We're not even good at being.
We're posers.
Story of our lives.
Who do you guys think is the biggest crybaby?
But there's a lot of as being front facing person in the band, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. And you know, when you have a lot riding on it, you know, it's like really at the end of the day it's gonna affect you a lot. So sometimes
you gotta be a crybaby.
Yeah.
and sometimes you get to learn that, like, you know, maybe tropes are tropes for a reason. Like, you know, all these singers have been really put through the ringer. They get turned around for being a hard time, being a wet blanket or soap blanket. But I'm if that's my cross to bear, you know, then I am happy to take that.
Part of the journey.
Yeah, part of the journey. It's being a crybaby sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no shame in it at all.
Proud.
Well, I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to talk to us.
Yeah. Thanks for talking to us. It was really fun.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get to try to come to a show of your guys's in person and talk to you guys in person over the summer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I hope your show coming up goes well. Saw that. I hope the writing goes well, and I hope the rest of your guys' day goes well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
See you later.
Yeah.
Goodbye.